Alright guys, how you doing? So back working on the vanagon. It's been a few months now, I've been a bit busy with work. So I filmed myself recently doing the seals on the cab doors. Now I'm onto the back windows. As you can see, I've already fitted the back window and the two side windows. Pretty straightforward. I use the string method, which you'll see 1,000 videos on, so we won't really go over that. What I am doing is refurbing my sliding windows because they seem to have a bit of rattle in them. So I bought some felt strip, which comes in a kit. I got mine from Go Westy, but again, you can get them from anywhere. There's a couple of videos I found on YouTube, like a minute 30 or something like that, which is what I've been working off, but I found I've had a bit of an issue with the way they are, and they're super short, so I just wanted to go over it. I bought two kits of the felt strip, although as they say, and they're obviously right, that one kit will do both windows. So if you're doing both your windows, one kit has easy enough felt strip to do that. Now, what they say is on the other videos, the first thing they take out is this rubber here, which is your seal that goes on. Now, we've actually had a bit of issue because where this metal trim is for the joint on your windows, we can't get it past there. So to rip this seal out, we're going to damage it, and the seal doesn't look to be in too much like a bad condition. And we also haven't found a replacement seal for these at the moment, so the last thing we want to do is damage them. So what we're going to do is take the window out without actually taking this out first, like they recommend you to do. So we use the same method as what they do. Our window, if you get a bit closer, have these little plastic clips just within the bottom row here. This is the window that obviously slides forwards and backwards. So you just have to use a small edge, and then we just come in. Try not to damage anything. There we go. Now I can get in with a screwdriver. Perfect. So this is just a little plastic clip that keeps this frame from moving up and down, but we obviously want to knock this off the bottom of the window. So we have to take these little clips out first to allow us to the room that we need to knock this trim down. So I'll just try and get in. Mine are very tight on the frame, so I just need to try and ease them off very gently. Add a little bit. Come in with my trusty screwdriver. Perfect. Okay. So that's both the trips off. People use dowel. I've got a few icicle sticks, popsicle sticks, just the wooden sticks, which I can double over. And what I've done is, as you can see now, the window has some movement up and down. What you want to do is you want to push the window as high as possible and put the wood, the dowel, the sticks, whatever you have, underneath that window to stop it going down. So what we want to do is when we knock that trim down, it should come away from the glass. Now on this side, mine is in line with the glass, so I can't actually get any sticks under it without packing under the aluminium as well. But what I do is, I just take as much of the play out of there as possible. What I try and do is knock this off as much as I can to this edge, and then I should be able to free that last corner off. Now I just have, this is plastic, but it's just a plastic scraper, but it also means I can get in there, I can hit it, I shouldn't really damage my glass. So all I want to do now is knock that trim. Now what I'll see if I can do is remove the wood from the window. See, that's mostly away there now, just on this back edge. Perfect. So, as you can see now, the trim is moving a little bit. So slide the trim all the way to the edge of the window. And then you want to see if you can just lift it up slightly and then just keep working it. I'll bring this up to the top so it's easier to see. Just keep working it up and then away from that window. So as you can see, this is our trim that is literally just a S-shaped piece of aluminium. I'll put that down. And what that allows us to do now is hopefully, what I can do is if I turn my window upside down, so I have all the play now at the top. And then what I've got to do is, one thing is remove my catch, as I haven't taken that off yet. And I've taken one of these catch. This is obviously the spring catch for the window. I've taken one of these off while the window is in. Very difficult. They have that little tool they'll sell in a kit. I managed to get a very small screwdriver in there, but it's not really that much fun. So if you are taking your windows out, this is the time you want to play around with these catches. So it seems to be being a bit stiff. There we go. So again, a peg, very important we don't lose this spring. We'll take that off, lay that down next to the rest of our parts. And as you can see, with very little effort now, our window comes away from our frame. Just place that down here for now. Now this is the point that I'm going to take all the rubbers out. Some of our rubbers are also glued in at the top. Now, I'm not sure if they come in manufactured, they're glued like that, or somebody's done it before. But this trim here, very difficult to get that rubber past. And again, we really don't want to damage the seal if you're not going to replace it with a new one, which I shouldn't be because it doesn't look too bad. So once your window's out, obviously we're going to give this a good clean. The felt strips are very straightforward. So you'll notice just underneath your actual lip of your frame here, it does actually have a gap where the channel stops. So I just use a bit of a screwdriver to poke that behind. And then I just try and feed it. You'll find your old seal comes away in 1,000 little pieces, like so. It's just a matter of okay, so as you can see, this is my upright seal almost off. So that's that seal, or felt channel. With this bottom one here, just over in your outside corner. Now my seal's pretty much just, I don't know if you can see this, but as I run along it, it's just coming out in powder. It's completely gone. I don't even need to slide that out of the track. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to clean all this up, but for an example, I'll show you very straightforward. What I did before is just put the felt strip to what I thought it would be, which is there. I'll use my trusty Leatherman. Give it a bit of nick. Now this, the new one's very flexible, so you'll find that just kink the end over a little bit so you can get it inside that little track. And then I'll use my screwdriver just to grip it. And you want to kind of push it back in that channel so you can feed it down. Like so. And this is pretty much your felt, and I'll do the same with this side. Once I've done this, I'll put the rubbers back on, and Again, when I come to fit the window, I will actually fit this rubber. There's also a chocker rubber here, I suppose, to stop your window from bottoming out on the corner. Don't forget this, very important. Again, when I go to fit the window back in, I'll fit this ceiling first, so I know it's in nice and snug where it needs to be. Then I'll do the same thing in reverse. So I hope that helps. What I can do is, once I've cleaned it all up, I'll do a short video again of how it all goes back together. But for now, I'll leave you this until I clean the window. So cleaned all the windows and all the frame, gave it a bit of a scrub to get all the dirt out of it. What I'll do now is fit the felt strips into the channels. So what I've done is I've cut 2 pieces for the channels, obviously. Now this one I've extended a little bit so it sits inside this frame. So it sits inside the frame a little bit here. With this one, you have to bear in mind, I've done my other window already. I overhang it a little bit so that it fits nice and snug in the window. But just keep in mind that you have to fit the rubber in the top of this window, and it can be very difficult if your furry strip sticks up too far at the top of your window. So I left mine flush here and then overhang a little bit at the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll slide these in. If I can get it. See, it's just a little bit tricky to get it started in that channel. I'll try from the other side so it's easier. Oh dear. Success. As you can see, it's a little bit tricky. Once you get it going though, it's relatively easy. Okay, so like I said, I'll leave the felt strip flush here at the top, not sticking into the frame. Now what can happen is it can slide up and down like this because you've obviously left the room at the top. So what I do is, and you don't have to do this, I just put a tiny, and I mean a pinprick, little dot of super glue at the base so I can push it down, and that'll just hold that into position to stop it sliding. Now, I haven't put enough, so if I ever need to take this out, that the whole thing is going to be glued and it's going to be an issue. It's just literally one dot just to stop this thing, and you can see it's stopped already just from sliding up and down. Now what I'll do is I'll try and see if I can get this one a bit quicker on this side. really move that much. As you can see, this bottom one doesn't really move that much because I've cut it exactly both sides, so I don't really need to put any glue on that. So once I've done that, to prevent me running into issues later with my seal, what I'll do is I'll put my seal back in now. Make sure that's sat nice and small. Tight into the corner. Okay, so as you can see, that's sitting pretty nice. Now, what we can do is take our now very nice and clean window, and what I'll do is sit it into my seal. Okay, now if you can see here, there's maybe 2 or 3 mil just overhang on the very edge here. So literally all we do is move that window to the middle, which is where you have most of your flex, and then just gently pop it in like that. As you can see, it didn't really take much effort to get that in. Then what we'll do is we'll get our chrome strip here. Now you'll find the first time when you take this off, it's a little bit tricky to get off. I just had a piece of aluminium here, a very thin piece, I could get behind it and tap it, as well as the scraper, which I showed you earlier, which I popped it off with. Now putting it back on is a little bit trickier because you only have a tiny lid, which is why you'll see me use this little piece of aluminium. You can use anything. I tried to use a flat blade screwdriver, but it just it got too fat too quick really on one of these. It needs to be really thin, and I didn't want to damage any of my screwdrivers. So now what I'll do is I'll just add a little bit of pressure to the back of this seal just to pinch it together a little bit. But what you'll find is your second or third time this will pop off a lot easier. So now what I'll do is push my window all the way across, and then I will see if I can tease this in under my window. Just the same way we got it out. Okay, perfect. So I'll take that to about halfway. I'll see if I can bring my window back across. And push. See, it's already gripping it. Go. Okay, so mine was flush with the back, so I'll try and put it to exactly where it was, which is about there. Okay, so now what you have here is just that thin lip of the actual hook that hooks over your frame. So turn that around, and all I do now is try and find my hammer, which is here. Use my very thin piece of aluminium or whatever material you have, and I'm just tapping that down. Now I can use a mallet or something like that so you don't damage your window, but you don't have to go too hard with this. Now, as we said before, it's kind of like an S shape. So you can tell by looking on the very edges of your aluminium trim now if that hook of the S is kind of hooked perfectly onto your glass. If you still have a bit of space, obviously you need to tap it down. And if I look along my strip, I can see my strip's perfectly flat, so I know the center is pushed down as much as both the ends. So basically, that is, turn the window around. That is my window with seals. As you can see now, there's no play at all within this. There is a little bit of movement within the window still, but that should go out as soon as we put our end caps back in. Get some bad boys clean. Just like these. Back into the ends of here. And this, one of my windows, this was missing, so I'll have to order two of these, but on this particular one it was luckily still there. Okay, so as you see, that's taken a lot of play out of my window. My window is very nice and smog. I also have, thank you, this little wedge of rubber that goes up in the back left hand corner here, and that will just stop our window when it's opened all the way. Stop it from hitting the metal or going too far, and that's your rubber stop there which just presses in. And that's pretty much my window. I have my seal just over in the corner now, and what I'll do to this now is literally put the seal on and put the rope around the inside and pull it through. Now, I did find with the aluminium windows that it was a bit stiffer to get in compared to the glass windows, so again I just gave it a bit of a spray with lots of silicone spray just to help that seal slip under, and I found it went in pretty easy. So I hope this helped you guys.